growing up in Hawaii, we don't understand what it's like to be a minority, right? We don't carry that as like a burden or some sort of protective shield, And I felt like when I moved to the mainland, I started meeting other Asian Americans, and they would talk about, the cause, doing projects for the cause. And I was like, what cause? Like, what are you guys talking about? Yeah. But there really was like this discrimination and racism that was going on that I didn't even understand or notice, because we can kind of take that for granted in Hawaii. And I think, growing up Asian in Hawaii kind of made such a difference in the way that I was able to navigate through the business and just through life. I didn't have to feel like I was less than at any moment. I always felt like I was unique, and that being Asian or being Native was a sense of pride and gave me an edge, because people would remember me and help me. It would help me stand apart from everybody else who was trying to vie for the same kind of recognition or competition or whatever it was that I was in.
Yeah, it's interesting that you took that route, and because a lot of instances that could easily accept that you would say, well, I should just go back home, because at home I didn't have this feeling of this idea of that I'm a minority, or right. It would have been easy for you to say, let me go back to where I'm comfortable. But it seems like you actually leaned into the discomfort and made it a positive for you. Did that ever cross your mind that it could have gone, that you have a choice of going the other way?
I didn't realize that that's what I was doing until much later. It was one of those things that you realize when you like sort of looking at your career in retrospect, right? And like what made it different, or why was I successful? Why was I one of the 4% in this business who was even able to make a living wage? I mean, I just feel like I was just trying to get by and have a career, and pounding the pavement and doing the best I could like everybody else. I don't think I would have been able to analyze it until after the fact. Yeah.
Hey gang, I got a friend here that has a big favor to ask of you guys.
Just hit that subscriber button.
That's not me asking, that's Coach Shoji asking, so you better do it.
Please.
What kind of adversities did you, because I think people will look at your career and just be like, oh, of course she's successful, she's beautiful, and she like from one project to the next. But knowing in the conversations we've had, like it took a lot of hard work, but there was a lot of adversity too.
I think that, of course, this acting thing is such a hard business no matter what color you are. No matter where you come from, no matter what you do. Yeah. And so the adversities, I think, didn't always have to do with the color of my skin or what I looked like.
Right.
Yes, being beautiful helps to get you in the door sometimes, but sometimes it can also work against you. They're like, oh yeah, she can't be this because she's too pretty. Nobody would believe it. Nobody would believe if she was this or that or whatever. And so you have to prove yourself in other ways. And you're not going to win everyone over all the time. You just have to sort of pick your battles and be happy with, the things that you are given, with what you're working with. I was very lucky. I think so much of life has to do with timing. And had I started in the industry now, my story would have been completely different. I might not have had the kind of success that I have had now. And it started with pageants. Having the title didn't necessarily get me in the door, but it gave me a sense of confidence and a financial stability to be able to pursue an acting career, which was a huge jump. It was like, something that 99% of the people that start in this business do not have. And I always had the support of the state and the entire Asian community in the United States without even realizing it. And it wasn't until I was older that I realized how important that was, you know, and people would come to me and say how proud they were, you know, that I represented Hawaii or that I represented the Asian community or whatever. But I didn't really understand it because it wasn't something that I was doing for the community. And if anything, it gave me more of a sense of responsibility, like, oh, geez, I can't mess up because it's not just me. I have to be better than everybody else. I have to, you know, be more perfect. I cannot get in trouble because I'm representing, you know, so many other people, and there's so few of us that if I get in trouble, then that's like, you know, who else is out there? I mean, there was kind of a little bit of a burden that comes with it, but, you know, also the support that one gets is unparalleled. You know, I wish that everybody who is in the arts gets to understand or gets to one day know what it's like to be supported by an entire community. Because I realize how special that is and how powerful that can be.